I don't see the American public. I don't think about the American public. It's too large a category for me to think about. What I think about, honestly, is what's the best we can do? What's the deepest we can go? What's the most penetrating analysis we can publish? And then publish it. And then the chips fall where they may. And we have a readership of over 1 million people, which is less than, well less than a 0.5% of the population, but it's a lot of people, and that's what I care about. I know that 50 million people are not going to read the New Yorker. 50 million people don't do anything all at once. So all I'm thinking about is to do what we do and what we do best. It's not a question of snobbery. It's not a question of elitism. It's a question of doing what we know how to do. You know, when there first were pot boilers in the 60s, Jacqueline Suzanne would publish a novel like Valley of the Dolls, and she'd sell a gazillion copies of it. And novelists everywhere who needed to make a living thought, okay, I'll write one of those, and that'll support me for the rest of my life. And a lot tried, and they can't do it. And we only know how to do what we know how to do. It's not a highbrow magazine in the sense of Paris Review in the 50s at its zenith, and nor is it people or us or some. It is what it is. It's this. The New Yorker is a very strange animal when you think about it. If you had a billionaire today, and you approach the billionaire with 2 ideas for a magazine. The first idea for a magazine would be, let's take the most popular television personality in America, and we will call it after her first initial, and we'll put her on the cover every month. And the magazine will be an emanation of her sensibility and advice and the celebrities she knows and the kind of earnest articles about women's health, or whatever it may be. That'll be one magazine, and we'll call it, for Oprah. Billionaire nods. Interesting idea. The other idea for a magazine I have is the following. The cover will not have photographs, neither of newsmakers nor women in bikinis. There will be drawings. They might be funny. They might be of a seasonal landscape. And the inside will have black and white cartoons, strange humor pieces by people like David Sedaris or Andy Borowitz or Patty Marks or something. 14,000 words on the war in Iraq, say, or and then maybe a piece on the scrap metal industry and a short story and James Wood on Tolstoy and some reviews of current things. And that'll be that magazine. Which one do you think the billionaire would choose? So the New Yorker, the second magazine I described, is a happy freak of nature, and we're lucky to have it. How it survived from 1925 and kept having various wonderful periods, which most magazines don't have. They usually have one period that's okay, and then they either die or they kind of drift into obscurity. How this animal has learned to revive itself and stay vital and important and funny, lively, is kind of a miracle. And that's what we try to do. Something that's very hard to live with, and I've asked that question in one form or another all my adult life, is that the reading of difficult books, say, is never going to be the obsession of a vast majority of the American English or any other people. To spend an hour or 2 or 3, a few nights a week, placing yourself in front of an enigmatic text of little words in black and white, and then you're supposed to form pictures in your mind, your ideas in your mind, and make that your central obsession or pleasure or entertainment. To expect some huge portion of any people to do that has always been off base. Now we live in a world of many screens. I grew up in a world of one screen, the television screen. That was an erotic lure enough. You know, now I have good witness to teenagers who are faced with many more screens, and the lures have become even more tantalizing. And the pull away from placing yourself in front of that enigmatic text, whether it's nonfiction or fiction or whatever, grows more difficult, more strained, more unlikely. And we have to work all the harder. I don't think that just because we have a couple of little videos on our website, that's going to save be the salvation of the New Yorker. It's nice. Might be fun. But I think there'll always be readers. I'm not as pessimistic even as the Caleb Crane piece in our own magazine about reading, but then I wouldn't be in the business I'm in if I were as pessimistic.